Hello learners, and welcome to today's lesson of exponent law number 5 and scientific notation, where today we are going to be focusing on the practice and application questions. Let's get to our lesson. Now we are going to be reminding ourselves of those exponent laws. So looking at our first question there, it says simplify the following without the use of a calculator. Now we have three powers here that are being multiplied together. Now remember, when we are multiplying powers, we need to first check if the base is the same. Because if the base is the same, that means that there is an exponent law that applies there. If the bases are the same and we are multiplying, then that means we can add the exponents. So let's go ahead and add those exponents, because as we can see, the base is the same. We have 2 exponent 5 multiplied by 2 exponent 3 multiplied by 2 exponent 7. Now they all have a base 2, so we are going to add those exponents. We are going to say base 2, then 5 plus 3 plus 7. Now what is 5 plus 3? Of course, that is 8, and then what is 8 plus 7? That is going to give us a 15. Of course, remember, because addition is commutative, you can always say 3 plus 7, which gives us a 10, and when we add that 5, then that means we can get that 15. You can either use your commutative properties or your associative properties. Let's go on to the next one. So here we have a negative 12 exponent 3, and this is multiplied by a negative 12 exponent 2. Now this is the same base that is being multiplied. So how can we simplify that? So we can go now and say, okay, we have a negative 12 exponent 3 multiplied by a negative 12 exponent 2. Because the base is the same, we can go and add those exponents. Now, because we've added those exponents, our final answer is going to be our negative 12, and the final exponent is going to be, oh, sorry, I do not see that. It is a 3 plus a 2. Apologies for that mistake. So that 3 plus 2 is going to give us a final answer of a negative 12 exponent 5. Let's move on to the next one. We have here, number 3, a negative 4 exponent 5 divided by a negative 4 exponent 3. So because we are dividing powers that have the same base, then we are going to subtract these exponents. So we can see that they have the same base of negative 4. Then we are going to say 5 minus 3, and that is going to give us a negative 4 as our base and a 2 as our exponent there. And of course, we know that if we simplify this further, you don't have to stop there, because we are talking about simplification, so you can take it further, and that will be a negative 4 multiplied by a negative 4, and that of course is going to be a negative multiplied by a negative will give us a positive, and we know that 4 multiplied by 4 is going to give us a 16. So our answer there is going to be a positive 16. Then we have this next one here. We have 11 exponent 5 divided by 11 exponent 3, and that is divided by 11. Now that last 11 there we know has an exponent of 1. And what happens when we are dividing powers that have the same base? Yes, we are going to subtract the exponents. So that is going to be 5 minus 3 and minus 1 again. That's going to give us a final answer of what is 5 minus 3? That is a 2. And when we minus 1 from that 2, that is going to be a 1. Of course, 11 exponent 1 is equals to a final answer of 11. Then let us look at number 5. Now, number 5 is a power that is raised to an exponent. So remember, using the different laws of exponents that you have learned, you can use any one of these to work out these expressions as long as you use them correctly. So now we have a -3 exponent 4, and this power is raised to an exponent 0. So we can either use the law that speaks of the power raised to the exponent, where we know that that means that the exponents are going to multiply together. So that is 4 multiplied by 0. That is going to leave us with the -3, and the exponent is going to be 0 because 4 multiplied by 0 is a 0. And of course, according to that 5th law of exponents that says that any number raised to exponent 0 is 1, we know that our answer here is going to be 1. Of course, that was one way of you calculating that, or we could have just said there from the given expression that anything raised to the exponent 0, or any number raised to the exponent 0, will give us a 1. So straight from the given expression, we could have said that our answer there is 1. The next one there is a 10 exponent 0, and that is raised to exponent 6. Again, you can use any law that you want to calculate this expression or to simplify this expression. But we know that 10 exponent 0 is 1, and this is raised to the exponent 6. Now, that is going to be, remember that 1 has an exponent 1, so that is going to be 1 exponent 1 times 6. That will give us 1 exponent 6, and 1 exponent 6 we do know is 1 multiplied by itself 5 times, which will give us an answer of 1. Remember, that comes from the properties of 1. Any number multiplied by 1 remains that number, and in this case, the answer is 1. Then we are given a product that is raised to an exponent of 0. Again, we have that law that speaks of a product being raised to the exponent 0. Remember, we can solve this many ways. One of the ways is to remember that that 3 has an exponent 1 and that 5 has an exponent 1. Now, if a product is raised to an exponent 0, then the exponents within the product must multiply with the exponent that has been raised. That means it will be 3, 1 multiplied by 0, multiplied by 5, 1 multiplied by 0. Now that is going to be 3 exponent 0 multiplied by 5 exponent 0, because 1 multiplied by 0 is 0. Then any number raised to the exponent 0 is 1, so that means we are going to have 1 in the place of 3 exponent 0, and we're going to multiply again by 1 in the place of 5 exponent 0, and that is going to be 1, because 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. But of course, we could have just said that because that product is raised to the exponent 0, the answer is simply a 1. Let's look at our last practice question there. We have a -54, and that is raised to the exponent 0. Of course, you would have a choice of, now you can simplify that -54 into a -27 multiplied by 2. And we know we can break down that 27 even further into a 3 cubed. But of course, because this -54 is raised to the exponent of 0, we can just say that the answer is a 1. Let's quickly go to an ad break, and then we'll see you just now for more questions.